Hi, everyone. My name is Jyothi. My research is on belonging beyond borders, how design shapes immigrant communities. What does it mean to design for belonging, especially when you are somewhere new, an immigrant, an observer, a participant, all at once? I arrived in the United States a year ago. I still remember how exhausting the customs line was at JFK Airport. But the sunset at the balcony of my apartment and a visit to the dog park made up for the jet lag. It was the first time I had ever lived all by myself, let alone in a different country, away from my parents, away from the home where I could recognize everyone's footsteps on the stairs. In that first week of living in Jersey City, everything felt foreign. The streets, the skyline, even the silence after midnight. And the question I thought I had left behind in India followed me here with uncanny persistence. Where do I belong? As a designer trained in architecture and design criticism, I began investigating the notion of belonging in third places. Not as a feeling, but as a spatial condition. Sociologist Ray Oldenburg describes the third place as neither home nor work, but an essential pause in neutral public places where people come together, socialize, and build community. In Jersey City, just across the Hudson River from Manhattan, that place is Indian Street on Newark Avenue. Here, design thrives on low stakes and high familiarity. Belonging lives in the nuances. A burst of English, marigold wrapped in plastic at temple entrances, a flyer glued to a lamppost in bold 90s movie typeface. And for me, it all started with the grocery store bag from Apna Bazaar. Indian Street was the first place I visited alone, carrying a plastic grocery store bag that my brother handed to me. Take this one. I do not want to be seen carrying it, he said to me. He had lived in the United States longer and had hated going there. It's too chaotic, too loud, too staged. Indian Street reminds me of all the bad sides of India, he asserted. I did not understand what he meant back then. I just needed green chilies and Maggie. The grocery store clerk at Apna Bazaar told me, "We get customers who will not talk to me in Hindi. They act like they forgot it." Ironically, he too switched to Gujarati, presuming that the customer next to me spoke the language. 2 weeks later, I returned, but this time with a notebook instead of a shopping list. I had begun interviewing people who lived and worked on the street. After 30 plus interviews, archival visits to local libraries, and design interventions, the tension resurfaced. All of it unsaid, but not unnoticed. Walking through Indian Street is an exercise in observation. The tapestry of sights, sounds, and scents evoke the Indian subcontinent. Most interviews in my research circled back to Indian Street as a counterpoint, a third place that emerged organically, not through calculated urban placemaking. Theorist Marc Audrey in Non-Places argues that imperfect public places, shaped by those who use them, are more valuable than spaces designed with abstract notions of community. For many first-generation immigrants, Indian Square offers a semblance of home. Mrs. Devangi Patel, who's 61 years old and from Vadodara, finds solace in her routine visits to Patel Brothers. For her, these trips are her me time, as she reconnects with her memories of India. Rajendra Singh, a millennial cab driver from Amritsar, has lived in Jersey City for over 2 decades. To him, Indian Square is Little India. He appreciates the early morning temple bells, the Sunday buzz, but he too notes how curated it feels. Indian Street gives the vibe of home, but only on the surface. It's like watching India from a glass window, he said. Founded in 1974 by Mafat and Tulsi Patel in Chicago, Patel Brothers has become a $140 million empire. The Jersey City store is pristine, wide aisles, cold air, LED price tags. Their green bag has become a cultural artifact, just as recognizable as a Trader Joe's canvas tote. Urban theorist James Jacobs discusses how small corner grocery stores in diverse pedestrian neighborhoods can evolve into ambitious businesses due to natural foot traffic and community support. According to Jacobs, A store may start humbly and grow into a supermarket, or a dressmaker's shop may grow into a ready-made clothing shop. The point is not how it starts, but whether it grows and flourishes. Patel Brothers is one such example. Familiar, but also impersonal. It anchors the block and sets the tempo. Just 3 buildings away, the Panwala at Rangoli still wraps parcels in recycled paper, prices scrawled on cardboard. For him, success is smaller, less glossy, but rooted. And on Indian Street, both coexist. The street itself is layered, with low-rise structures, hand-painted signs in Tamil and Gujarati, blinking LED boards promising gold, groceries, and God. The facades tell a story of layered peels, of layered inhabitation, old American tenants replaced by newer Indian ones, whose signage sometimes peels back just enough to reveal what came before. The aesthetic is not designed, but accumulated. Sidewalks narrow under the weight of produce crates, samosa counters, and sari racks. Neon sweets glow behind glass. There's rhythm here, a choreography of clutter, smell, and nostalgia. Jersey City has one of the largest immigrant populations in the United States. Over 40% of its residents were born outside the country. More than 70 languages are spoken here. Yet, even in these enclaves, connection can feel elusive. Among some immigrants, those living in Journal Square, Tower, Grove Street, Newport, or Hoboken, all of them wear their new addresses like subtle baggages of accomplishment. It's, in a way, a proof that they have distanced themselves from a place that feels too much like India. For second-generation Indian immigrants, Indian Square evokes complex emotions. Nikhil, a 27-year-old data scientist, feels caught between two worlds. The moment I step into Indian Street, I feel this weight, like everyone is judging me for not being Indian enough, he says. Riya Chopra, a 25-year-old born and raised in Jersey City, echoes the same feeling. For her, Indian Street belongs to her parents, not her. It is a place of contradiction, of memories she would rather outgrow. Daniel Klein, manager and lead archivist of New Jersey Room, reminds me, there's probably more history in a Patel Brothers receipt than in some official records. He is advocating for a collection that includes South Asian grocery store ephemera, recognizing their power in documenting community evolution. Upon digging through immigrant material, I came across archival images of the Patel Brothers family, shedding light on the entrepreneurial journey of one of the most prominent Indian grocery store chains in the US. These photographs not only chronicle the family's business growth, but also reflect the broader narrative of South Asian migration and settlement in Jersey City. Shobha Pillai, a librarian at the Five Corners branch, sees South Asian memory as an oral archive, be it receipts, rituals, or storytelling. Our stories survive not only in books, but in pickle jars and wedding albums, she says. Sana Patel, a Muslim woman from Gujarat, speaks of the lack of gender-safe zones in Indian Square. She had an intercaste marriage. I see my culture everywhere, but I do not feel seen, she told me, underscoring the need for more inclusive urban planning in Jersey City. The street, by definition, is a third place. It offers belonging that is inherited but not always shared. Somewhere between understanding the design grammar behind belonging, I was searching for a third place, one that does not just invite people in, but lets them settled, unnoticed, unquestioned. On a random day at 7:30 p.m., I walk past restaurants that read like a regional map of India. Deccan Spice, Eggaholic, Curry On, Hotel Golconda. The logos are outdated, the interiors overly lit, but inside, pockets of cultural specificity. The diversity is overwhelming, but the design, not so much. If there's any place that should reflect settlement, it is Indian Street. Some immigrants find comfort here, others avoid it, being seen too closely, of being asked too many questions. A friend once snapped at me during one of those walks. "You are judging our culture, our food, our logos, our people," he said. At that time, I had no answer, but the questions lingered. Must being from a culture mean defending it wholesale? If we ignore caste, does it disappear? If we unsee the divide between North and South, does it make it easier to belong in a foreign land? This is the contradiction that defines the Indianness of it all, nostalgic and estranged. But upstairs, life continues. On Indian Street, on the floors that are above the commercial lands, it is more quieter, more precarious, more domestic. In trying to find third places that might offer me belonging, I have come to realize that true belonging cannot be designed. It can neither be curated nor aestheticized or explained. It can only be safe, seen, and still. It is not something one can manufacture. Belonging is not a co-working space with a neon sign that says community. It is not a parking lot with carefully placed benches. Belonging happens in spaces that are not trying too hard. When the halal cart uncle asks you about your day, or in a deli where you eat standing up and leave without a word, when someone's aunt says beta to a teenager who is not hers, and in the city itself, in constant motion, making room, never promising to hold you in place. And so the street talks, through gold not bought, spices in bulk, and a tacky grocery store bag worth $3 still lying under my kitchen sink. Thank you.
Yeah.